brought my Oscar with me. This I brought because my dad couldn't come, and I'd just like to thank the Academy for bestowing upon me, and for Johnny Depp for leaving the pirate suit on after. So he's gonna sit right there. Everybody can hear me okay? Yeah. 14 years ago, I became an LPN in 1997, and I had Dr. Ortiz as a clinical professor way back then. I went back longer in years, I think, than he did, 14 years ago. But he wore baggy blue scrubs, if you can picture him in baggy blue scrubs. He had a black backpack, and I remember that the first time they told me that I was supposed to take 2 patients, I went in the bathroom and I cried because I was scared to death to have 2 patients, and then he gave me just 1. So I decided that I'd be a nurse. So, does anybody know why we even have a pinning ceremony? Anybody? I looked it up. I Wikipedia'd it today because I was in my car wondering why in the world do we even have one, and here's what it said. It said, a nurse's pin is from a nursing school given to the graduate, symbolizing a welcome into the profession. Most pins have symbolic meaning, often representing the history of the nursing program for that school. So that's why we all get a pin here today, and that's why you all get to come to see us again in May when we get to do this all over again with caps and gowns on. When I first asked to speak, I thought, what in the world would these fine group of folks be wanting me to do this for? I was dumbfounded, actually. So I thought of I thought of some nursing diagnosis maybe that would fit. Altered mental status related to lack of sleep. Disturbed thought process related to writing care plans. And post-traumatic stress disorder from that STEM test out. So I'm just going to warn you that when you're laughing and crying at the same time, that's your fault. I didn't do this because you all had to vote. Not my fault. I have to thank our family and friends for coming, the faculty for your patience, because God knows that we tested it. Nikki's coming back in 3 years to take your test again, she said, because she's going to argue more questions. We cannot thank you enough for your dedication, your patience, and your encouragement. I asked some of the students to recall some of their favorite memories from some of the faculty over the last few years. And Professor Masudi isn't here anymore, but I never had her. But after hearing something about pocket pull in a femoral artery pulse or something, I wish I'd had her now, because that sounded like it was pretty funny. Professor Klosinski was able to explain pathopharm 100 miles an hour in a way that you can understand it. My class was the last one to do the pregnancy diary for Professor Schooley, and then the grading scale changed. Did any of you have to do that? Yeah. The pregnancy diary was basically 9 weeks long, and for every week we had to be pregnant for a month. So each week. So by 9 weeks you should have been 9 months pregnant. And it was long, and God, it would take me forever because I waited till like the 7th month to do it. It was a girl, by the way. And then it changed the next semester, and I had talked to Kelly about it, and I sent her mine just so she could see what I did, and she said, we don't have to do it. I thought, how sad is that? I had the privilege of having Professor Coates 3 times, once for transitions, then lifespan, and then peds. And her test did not get any easier. She could kill you with a look if you were late. And she expected excellence, and honestly, probably some of the best lectures I've ever sat through were yours. Professor Garwood was the first professor that actually sat me down and told me to stop thinking like an LPN and just be a nursing student. That was hard. Which is good, because then Wei Ming told me that she was glad I wasn't like trying to do everything, and it was because you told me to, because she'd have ripped me up. So thank you for that nice eval and recommendation. I know Clinton last year brought up Dr. Gestel and those frickin' clickers, man. I still have my clicker. I've never used it a day. I have no idea what to do with it. But I had to bring that up. I had Dr. Gestel just for, I think, pharmacology when I first started. It's kind of changed a little bit. Professor Nida will never forget when you walk in and say, "Good morning, nurses." Every single time. When we got to where we actually look forward to it. He told us to don't do our best, do our job. That's what they wanted me to say. Okay, and then I've got Wei Ming Su is not here, but I have to tell you, synthesis was the last course we took. And Wei Ming Su has been here for 32 years, right? Taught half the people over there, I guess, and she's been here a long time. And she's hard and tough, but so smart. And we learned as a clinical group so much from her. But I have to tell you, starting from when we're infantile nursing students, all we hear about is synthesis and how hard it is. Wait till you get to synthesis. They're going to make you walk through a ball of fire before you get there, and you can't sit down, and they're going to make you cry, and the room's ice cold, and then whatever, and the tests are horrendous. So by the time we get there, and she asked, the first question she ever asked me, I was like, and it was my name. She just asked me my name, and I'm like, and I told her, and she asked me if it was evidence-based or not. I don't know what that is yet. She would tell us some students would get hives when they even talked to her. I can remember we're sitting in synthesis, and here she comes, and the faculty that have heard her walk know that you hear her before you see her. She's just like that. And by the time you look up to see her, she's gone. It's just a blur of black hair. She's very quick and purposeful. And very quick and purposeful. And I remember the very first time she came in and she wanted to know who her Friday clinical group was. And 6 hands were not like, "Oh, it's us." We were like, okay. And here's the look we got from the rest of the class. Like we just got the death sentence. But I will tell you, we used to laugh at each other when we left clinical because we knew that somebody got her the grilling that week because she would come to us about chest tubes and heart attack and what other problems and diagnostic reasoning worksheets, which we just love. But if she was here, I would thank her for the most amazing clinical experience I think I had, and I think the rest of the group, though you wanted to hate her every time, we appreciate her to no end. And so thank you, because obviously we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. And I have to say, too, Dr. Strom, who always told us that everything was going to be okay. And the times I spent in your office telling you that I don't know if I could get through it, and I didn't know. Took 2 tests in synthesis and didn't want to register for spring because I didn't know I was going to pass. So I registered anyway. But so thank all of you. Thank all of you. You guys are a wonderful group of people, and we are better. We're going to be better nurses and students for it. To our families who supported us, who listened to us try to explain EKG strips, and for leaving us alone anytime we mention the word care plan. That's like a cuss word in my house. Just don't call me if I say care plan. And for listening to us talk about how we would have gotten a B on the exam had he just given us that one question. Our families, too, now that we're graduate nurses, anytime you call us now to look at a rash, a funny mole, or ask us why your arm hurts when you do this, we're going to charge you for it and bill your insurance. Many of you know already that this has been I haven't been in school that my mom has not been really, really sick. And Nikki and Jessica and Julie, all 3 have directly taken care of her at one time or another. don't you start. And for anybody who's ever asked me how she was, thank you, because she's here. And I should pin her, because this is just as much her RN as it is mine. Sorry.
Aww.
Oh, God. So I'm going to end with a few pieces of advice, because I've been in the nursing field for a very long time, and I've seen some things and know some things, and I've taught CNA classes and been, Wayne Ming told us if knowledge isn't yours unless you can teach it to somebody else. And I did. In fact, I wrote practice exams for a lot of the students. I wrote a 60-question practice exam over Coates' test, and I showed it to her. And then our extra credit assignment was the next week was, guess what? Write test questions. But I want to give you 5 pieces of advice that I think if you remember anything from today, you remember these. Always remember to ask questions. There are no stupid questions. There are just stupid people who don't ask the stupid questions when they're doing something stupid. Okay? Anticipate the needs of the nurses that work behind you. Always, even if you don't like them. Be kind to your aides, because some of you are one. They're on the same team as you. Lead by example, and take care of your license. And if there's anything that in the back of your mind you even think about is going to jeopardize it, don't do it. I'm so proud of us that I couldn't even say. I've had so much fun laughing, crying, God only knows, telling the jokes, all that stuff with you guys. And I am going to love following you guys on Facebook. Thank you very much.